Welcome to Live Unashamed, where we pause the show and invite members of our team to talk vulnerably about their own recovery, things they're learning, the resources that are actually working, and what it truly means to live unashamed.
What up, y'all?
I have poisoned one of these water bottles.
Don't mess with the Sicilian.
Don't mess with the Sicilian when death is on the line. If you've not watched Princess Bride, you will never recover. You will never recover from your sexual
seen it
addiction.
all the way through.
Just like you had never read freaking Wild at Heart all the way through. Dude, what? Tell me what else
I
is
did
on
read
the
Wild at Heart all the way through.
10 years later, you little freaker.
It was a little closer to 10
Wait,
years. Yeah.
what else? This is a whole podcast episode. What else, Chris, have you just not finished?
Just halfway
Oh,
done.
Ask my wife about everything.
Chris,
There was a whole bunch of stuff. She's like, not that way.
That's what she said.
I set myself up for that one. But
Wow.
no, that's why I started coaching. And she was just like, well, you said you wanted to coach a long time ago. Why haven't you done it yet? And I'm like, she's like, you do everything half-assed. Not that way.
including watching The Princess Bride.
Including watching The Princess Bride.
Or Hot Rod.
Oh, I
Have
love
you
Hot
seen
Rod.
Hot Rod?
Absolutely. Multiple times.
From
Say what, where?
Okay.
Say, what way? Right. Okay, but real talk though, Chris. This is actually an intervention. That's why I brought James. All of y'all know about James is like actually classy. Chris and I are a little like ratchet, you know what I mean? Like we're a little honky tonk on the thing. Here's the thing about James though, like food recommendations, movie recommendations. Like this guy like could be a critic, you know, renowned, all of the things. This is true about James. So James, my friend Chris is under the delusion that the movie Wild Hogs. You heard me
No,
correctly.
I didn't say best movie.
He's under the delusion
Or funniest movie.
that it is one of the best comedies of all time.
No.
Of all time.
No, I never said that. You're smoking dope, dude.
Now he's reeling it back, pretending like he didn't say it.
Poser.
It was perfect for the whole movie is about the poser. And it's funny. It's good. He apparently doesn't think so.
No, to say that it is one of the best comedies of all time,
No.
which was a claim you
But you're
made.
crazy. I never said that.
I don't
Prove
know
it.
why I hang out with these people.
Prove it.
All right. Topic of discussion.
I don't remember.
Remind. Talk.
I got it right.
Remind. Jared said it
he's
right
got
here.
got it.
He's got it.
Okay.
Strategies for breaking addictive behaviors.
Oh yeah.
All right, Chris. So if we wanted to strategize about breaking your obvious addictive behavior of never finishing anything, what would we do?
Just stop it.
Excellent. I think that you should actually just try harder.
That's a good one.
That's a good one. That's
Yeah.
because that's so easy.
Yeah.
Or if you just kind of shamed yourself into it, it might work.
Ooh,
But shame's good.
But make sure, Chris, that you do it alone.
Bingo.
I like alone.
Yeah.
I can do it on my own.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you don't have to worry about other people judging you about it.
Right.
Yeah.
So just
And
isolate.
I isolate and don't let anybody know that I'm even struggling with stuff.
Right.
Or another tasty option would be for you to just throw your values out the window and just remove any standard from you that you believe you aren't sure you can meet.
Sounds about right. That's
Yeah.
good.
Or don't do it, but say you did.
Ooh, even better.
Yeah.
Because then you can pose and you can be like, oh,
Best of both
I'm
worlds.
so good.
Right.
Or
Dual
I
threat.
can I can live in like church callings really well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, all good strategies.
Let people
Yeah.
see me how I want them to see me.
Yeah, fake it till you make it, as they say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We've obviously never done any of those.
I don't know. I mean, all at the same time, or what? How do we need to quantify?
I mean,
Today?
so-
Today, or
I mean,
No.
so as we say in the therapy world, if you spot it, you got it. So,
Right?
welcome to
Stephen James to your own roast of
Ooh,
self.
yes, it is. Yeah.
I get with all this stuff.
Well, I'm waiting for you to be like tips, tricks, and strategies.
Thank you.
Give me a break. That's what I'm waiting for. Go.
Give me a break. I no. Here's the thing: is I think there's two questions you can ask. Do you even want to freaking start? Or are you stuck? Because that's where when I hear how do I like break the habit? When I hear the word like break, I'm like breaking a 2x4 over my knee, like like that, like karate chop, or is this like breaking in a horse or breaking in a pair of Kyries that I got on sale at an outlet mall in California? Well done. Nothing from either of you. Rude. What are you asking? When you ask this question, what are you asking?
Like, how do you stop?
How do I stop? So have you been trying to stop and you can't? Or you're deciding whether or not you're even going to put forth the effort to stop? Am I missing something? Or are there two camps?
No, I think that nails a lot of it. I would say it nails it on the head. You just a lot of men that I meet with, they struggle because they're not ready to stop yet, and they actually like. I mean, to say that you hate porn, I would say you're wrong. You may hate what it does, right?
Say the bad thing. Say the bad thing.
What do you mean?
That addiction works. The reason people
totally,
do addictive stuff is because it works.
Because it works.
Yeah.
And it makes you feel good. It temporarily makes you feel good.
Right, because if I'm sitting here and I'm like, Chris, chug vinegar.
No.
Drink your own pee or whatever. You'd be like, not interested. But if I'm like, look at this naked woman, all of a sudden now you're interested, right? Or eat these cheese fries, as we've before discussed on the show. Right. All of a sudden you're interested.
Yeah.
It works. There's a payoff that is happening.
Right.
With the addictive behavior.
Right.
And I think if you don't name that, you're just in shame somewhere if you're not naming that, in my opinion.
You're narrowing the vision, obviously. You're not seeing the truth or admitting the truth of the whole thing.
So two camps, James. I don't want to start. So when I ask the question, how do you break the habit? What I'm really asking is it worth my time to even start? Because if it's not going to work, I don't even want to start.
Well, I just think that they don't have hope. I've been in that camp where there's no hope. So
say more, Chris Bennett. Say more.
You just may not know that there's a way out because you've tried for so long to just stop.
Well, no, that's the stuck guy now. Now
that's
you're in camp
stuck
number
guy.
2.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying go to camp number 1. Go back to camp number 1. They don't have hope. Agree?
Yeah, they don't have hope because
they're stuck.
Or
hey, I'm the one who asked the open-ended rhetorical questions. Can't steal my move. Answer your own question.
Well, I thought we were, because Chris was answering, I thought we were like, yeah, let's go there and grill him. My turn? I'm happy to help grill Chris with you.
I'm glad you're sitting in the middle.
I know.
It's working for me. No. Answer your own question, James.
Why don't they want to start?
Yes. Chris says, because they don't have hope.
Right.
Accurate, inaccurate, thoughts? Anything you want to add?
It's ultimately what I haven't admitted to myself whether or not I want to be done. I like it too much. The payoff is working for me too much right now. To me, if I don't want to start.
But what if I point out to you, James, how painful it is?
Oh, well, I know
and how
it's
much
painful.
harm is being caused. And are you aware of how bad this is?
Sure. And it works.
But
it feels
James,
great.
I just don't care.
It's costing you so much.
But it feels so great, and it helps me feel better.
And I'm numb.
Right, because I have delayed or deferred the consequences of my actions. And so I love the quote, right, that every lie we tell incurs a debt to the truth, and sooner or later that debt will be paid.
Right.
But it's debt, right? It's spiritual, emotional debt. So when I can keep just putting that crap on the card, I don't have a reason to change. And as you know, I don't believe that rock bottom changes people.
Well, yeah, we've proven it doesn't.
Right.
And so I think, Chris, you hit it right on the head that they're lacking hope. So if you're at the starting line, what I would argue, if your real question is how do I change this behavior, a.k.a. convince me that it's even worth starting.
Right.
Because everyone's telling me I should quit looking at porn. However, when I do the actual math, I do not have a reason to quit looking at porn.
Yeah.
You got to give them hope for better. If porn is a paycheck and I'm getting $200 a week or $100 a week, and you say, just stop it, that makes no sense to me because I'm going to be broke.
Mm-hmm.
Because our addiction behavior, there's a payoff, right?
Right.
It's meeting our needs. So if I say, James, you know that $100 a week you're making? Well, it's wrong. It's bad. You're hurting people. So just stop. From whatever altruistic or God lens that's true and makes sense, no one is just going to be like, cool, I'm going to be broke. It's hope. You have to give them hope and be like, James, what if I told you could be making $500 a week instead of $100?
Sounds good. Tell me more.
Now we have something to talk about.
Right.
So you need to find hope. So let's get back to roasting Chris.
Great.
Chris, how do you find hope? So thanks for the magical answer. Find hope. Now what am I supposed to do with that?
Now I forgot what I said before.
How did you find hope?
You
pretended to start recovery like 20 times.
Oh, totally.
So how did you then you didn't. Then you did it for real. So what was the hope change? If that's the truth, you should already have the answer in you, right? Like at least what was it for you? I guess we can speak from the eye.
Probably one of the biggest things was just understanding that God's love for me. His unconditional love, that he loved me even regardless of all the crap that I've done in my life. And I know we've talked about this a bazillion times, but that's what helped me.
Where did you find that?
I found it from my wife. She just provided me hope numerous times when I was down and out, not feeling like I deserved anything. And she was just like, nope, you deserve to be fought for.
Anywhere else you find it?
Brotherhood. I found it in my 12-step programs because guys were like, I've got 7 years sobriety. I'm like, bullshit. How do you do that? Because I've only got 2 weeks and I can't even get 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's frustrating. And so I'm like, there's no way. But I'm like, God, these guys live a different life.
Hashtag plug bootcamp. Hashtag a good 12-step group, a good one, worth its weight in frickin' gold.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Because of that reason.
Yeah.
Yep.
For sure.
And bootcamp. I mean, I started recovery a little bit before I went to bootcamp.
WarriorHeart.com.
And that, like, bootcamp just accelerated my connection with God.
Totally.
And accelerated my identity of who I really was.
Whatever. James, how do you find hope?
Good point.
You, James Ulhai, how have you found hope?
How have I personally found hope?
How to get you past the starting line to make it worth it?
The hopeful word I read was like, you may be addicted.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, that gave me the hope. The hope was that there's places that addicts go to get help to change their lives and stop being addicted to things.
You accepted it.
Yeah, and so it was learning that, I might have an addiction. That gave me the fact that there was help for addicts gave me hope that then I could also get the help I needed to heal.
Mm-hmm.
So that's been a avenue for hope. A Warrior Heart was also
WarriorHeart.com.
a massive hope agent for me because in my
Arizona.
addictive behavior, I had totally believed that I was really beyond the reach of of God, of salvation, of redemption, broken beyond repair, so to speak. That changed that whole thing for me, and that gave me great hope in that God could also help me, right? So now I was like, now I've got community that can help me. I've got spiritual, like God can help me, which then boot camp got me into brotherhood, which gave me hope. And then obviously being in brotherhood and developing that brotherhood, just the daily walk with brotherhood gives me consistent hope, because all the time I can be like, guys, I'm feeling a little down, and you guys can be like a little, hope injection.
You cheese fries.
Totally, right.
Yeah.
Or when, like, reminding myself that hope is real because I come on and interview people on Unashamed and Afraid and listen to their stories of healing, and it's like,
boom, here's how I found hope.
Right, and it's like,
okay.
hope is real, like healing is real, like,
yeah.
and so being
100%.
in the recovery community and interacting with people and sharing their stories of recovery and hope.
Recovery,
Right, totally, right. So
go after what you want.
There's hope all over.
Well, and I think hope has connection to identity. So yes to all those things for me too. Chris knows this. Chris is my story. Chris, and I know Chris has a laundry list of people whose his stories affected and changed, I'm on that
Yeah,
list.
mine included.
Right. Where I
Yeah.
saw Chris and Autumn, and I'm like, they're normal people, but they're doing it. The
Yeah.
7 years, I'm like, how's he doing it?
Right.
Drilled him with all the questions. I'm like, really, you're not masturbating, liar? He's like, no. And I'm like, I think this dude's telling the truth. Right. And,
Yeah.
but then also for me, like a bit, like I talk about the love note of all of like the hip hop music, right? The Lecrae, the NF, all the Christian rap music. But I think hope that in identity, that there was a way to do it for me that was me oriented. Meaning like,
Sure.
if you're, what I've learned about hope is like, if for you hope is chocolate ice cream, like someone handing you a scoop of vanilla is not that exciting. Meaning, I'll just stick with the crap I'm eating.
Yeah.
I'll stick with the investment I have in
Sure,
my addiction.
sure.
Thank you. But seeing that change, right, for me of being like, wow, being a God guy and being does not mean I have to look like the super square, in our church we call it Peter priesthood, like, because for me, I'm like, if God is Mr. Rogers, I'm screwed. Like, this is not like the nice guy thing. I just can't. I can fake that well, but I can't do it, And so having these messages of, because I was raised on Eminem and my fatherlessness, so to have that shifted to be like, wow, I can do this in a way that feels real and authentic to me in that hope, it gets personal. That's what I think I'm trying to say. Hope is personal about your identity.
Right.
It's not this giant blanket that just
Right.
It's not a one-size-fits-all experience, particularly with God, right?
Right.
It's unique.
And once my identity and the way I view myself gets shifted, now all of a sudden my relationship with my addictive behaviors change.
That's how it stops.
That's how the stop happens.
That's how the breaking the habit.
That's where you're going
Right.
deeper
There's
instead
the
of just
breaking-
the managing
There's
the
the
behavior.
breaking habit
Right.
magic right there. And then because we're here because Chris did it and I cut him off because then we wouldn't have even had an episode. But he was right on. You want to know? So that's the starting line answer, right? If you're afraid you want to start. If you started and you're stuck, guess what the answer is? The same one. It just means you got
Find
lost.
hope.
Find hope, and how are you going to find hope? All the exact same ways, right? So right now, how are you finding hope? James.
I find hope in the Savior. I contemplate his character and nature. I contemplate what his personality is really like. And the more I learn about it, the more hope it gives me.
But how are you doing that right now?
Right now, I am doing that by reading and studying it in books, scripture, and pondering it in prayer, and just literally letting myself ponder it.
Yeah, with intention.
Yes.
Yeah. Super cool.
Yeah. For me, how I'm still finding hope is through brotherhood. Reaching out, because if I create what I want to have, right? That's why as it's warmer, I invite people over to the house every other Friday, and I don't care who comes.
Yeah.
I don't even care if anybody shows up, because I'll just sit by the fire, because that allowed me to be able to connect with God. But when other people are there to be able to connect with and share stories and share where their heart's at, what's worked for them, what hasn't worked for them, and just being able to have that openness and connection for me, that's part of meeting my needs, and that provides me hope.
Steve.
I think for me, where I'm finding it a lot right now is in my kids. So my kids are 10 and 7. So they're right in the age where they're starting to do things. Like Ivy played basketball for sure. So I have this picture on my phone. It kills me. It's like she didn't get it, and then all of a sudden she got it. Like when kids do new things, they're like, I don't get it. And then she kind of got it. It's like, oh, you grab the ball and you try and score, and you. And so she can't kind of figure out in this one game she scores 10 points, which in their little kid games that's a big deal.
Yeah, that's a lot.
And so I have this picture of her. She is feet off the ground in a full jump with her hands over her head, like woohoo face, because she had just made a
So
basket.
excited.
And I think it gives me hope for that inner child part of me, right? So I'm doing these Pokemon tournaments with my 7-year-old, like Nerdfest, like they need to do a mockumentary about this. So rather,
I've heard you talk Pokemon before.
totally,
And
yeah,
it's pretty
James
funny.
makes-
I'm like,
yeah,
who
James
is this guy? Like, he's rattling off all
the
these
deep
people,
end.
all
Yeah.
these characters.
And there's just a tenderness there, like that when I see the innocence in them, because they still have it.
Yeah.
They still have
Totally.
the innocence,
The wonder.
looking into the world. And when I see that, it activates it in me. When I go to that Pokemon tournament, I am not the 35-year-old well-informed therapist dad or whatever. I'm doing some fathering in my child. There's an inner child who got neglected as a kid who's now shown up in that experience, right? So in living unashamed, right, we want to know. So hit us up on social media at Unashamed and Afraid. Send us an email, Steve, Chris, and James at unashamedandafraid.com. Reach out to us and we want to know, where are you finding hope right now that is helping you get unstuck from the behaviors you're stuck in? Would love to hear about it. Give us 5 stars on iTunes. It's how the world judges us. Become an outsider with us and help us with this movement. Help us stay on message and make the things happen. It's you being with us that makes it happen. And when you donate, that allows this movement to go forward and for real change to happen and more people to get the very hope that we're talking about in this episode and trying to find. So go ahead and go to unashamedandafraid.com/donate. No donation too big, too small. We want everyone here as an outsider. So come join our movement. And until we hear from you, continue to live unashamed.
Peace out. Cheese fries.
Cheese fries.